Good morning. You're waking up with Kim and Dana Wagner for top stories and weather. And Chopper Tom Hawley with Las Vegas Valley traffic. This is Wake Up with the Wagners on News 3, the only morning newscast that gives you a jump on the day's news.
I'm excited about this. We have a studio, I was going to say live in studio.
Yeah.
We have an interview live here in the studio with us. She's been on the Today Show. She's this reinvention expert. And when we come back, she's going to help you reinvent your budget to make it stretch a little further.
Yeah, this is the woman who used a glue gun and $17 to make $1.5 million. She's going to tell you how to save $2,000 this year with some simple steps. You'll be amazed.
I can't wait to meet her. And then also using who, Dana, joining me now is a very special guest. Eli Davidson, thanks for coming in. The quick backstory on Eli, which is $17 and a glue gun. She is now the owner of $1 million business. But Eli, we were talking during the break and you were saying that you have done this now a couple of times. You made this great business and then you lost it and then you've rebuilt again. So talk to us about it.
Like a lot of people that are in the world right now, I was hit by the perfect storm. So I had built a company, but then in 18 months I lost my marriage and business and health. And so I had $88,000 of corporate credit card debt. And with no good shoes to show for it.
No good shoes.
No good shoes.
Is that what this? So she brought in this huge block of ice, and I noticed there are a few cards in here. There's at least two that I can count. Here.
So one of the ways that I, reinvented my budget was I froze my credit cards. I had froze, like really froze.
There's no getting into that.
There's no way, no way.
So that's one of the things you do, and then you say use paper power, and is that the first step to paper power?
So the real key with freezing your credit cards is not to use credit cards. When you're just using cash, you can't overspend because when it's gone, it's gone.
Well, and I know you've talked nationally about this. You've been on the Today Show. I have to ask you, for us here locally, we have so many people out of work. And so a lot of these people are living on their credit cards because they don't have any money coming in. I don't know if you have all the answers to this, but is there something that these folks can do as far as cutting down on their credit card spending even though they don't actually have cash coming into the house?
Well, one of the things that, in just talking here, I think people need to get really creative.
Okay.
Really creative. It's called get together with your friends and make group dinners.
Good point.
Instead of buying clothes, have what I call a swap-opportunity. Get a bunch of girlfriends together, or guys can do this too, but it works for the girlfriends. Is everybody bring some clothes that you like but don't wear and swap them. So, if you don't have any money coming in, you're going to have to get really creative, but there's still some things that you can do.
So your point is don't throw in the towel and be as creative. This is going to force you to really work those creative juices is what you're saying.
Well, and also I think if it doesn't kill you, it makes it strong. You get stronger because of it. And the reason I started a company with $17 and a glue gun was because I was broke. So really start looking at the world and start looking at what can I do? What is something I love to do? How can I be of service to other people?
Obviously, we only have a certain amount of time here during a live program. Is there a website that we can link to our website so people can find out more tips from you?
Okay, absolutely. We'll put that on the...
We'll make sure we do that. And before I let you go, is there one final tip, maybe something we've never heard before you can share?
You have never heard this before. So one of the things that I did was I cut my credit card bill into less than half. I used something called a debt settlement company. So if people are in trouble, ask for help. I mean, a lot of people hear about credit counseling, but those are actually funded by the credit cards. They're not nonprofit, and they make their money through the credit card companies. So if you're looking for a debt settlement company, not all of them are good, and I really believe look for something with the task logo because that's really the good housekeeping seal of approval for debt settlement, and you can cut your credit card debt into less than half like I did.
Eli Davidson, you're a survivor and you've been able to come in here and share your success. So thank you so much for that, and we'll make sure we get your website linked to ours at mynews3.com a little bit later this morning. For now, though, let's get everyone to work on time, and for that, we're going to check in with our buddy Tom.
And Kim, I'm going to...
Not filling in. The time is now 6:53, and coming up here on Action News Live at 9. Money's tight for so many here in the Valley, but we have some simple ways to cut down on your spending, including one which involves your credit card and your freezer. That's at 9 o'clock.
I think that's an old way to save some money. All right, one of the greatest...
This
is Channel 13 Action News in high definition with Casey Smith and Lisa Rimaloff. Weather first with meteorologist Mike Cholinas. And breaking news from the Action News Hall.
Yeah, for many people around Southern Nevada, they're not even in a place to buy a new home right now because they're dealing with some hard times financially. And you've been there. What I find interesting, this is Eli Davidson. She's written a book on the subject. You had a $1.5 million business and then lost it all. So you've been on both extremes of this. And when you lost it, you had $88,000 in credit card debt, right?
And no good shoes to show for it.
It was all corporate debt. It wasn't even, yeah.
Really, none of it was from shopping. So it was all from starting a business.
So for people who are in a similar situation, the one big advice you say is get rid of the credit cards altogether, right?
Use your green.
The cash.
Use
on
cash.
This St. Patrick's Day. Stick with the green.
Exactly. Studies show that people that spend cash only spend 30% less.
And you have a great idea of what to do with the credit cards, right?
We actually froze the credit cards. Like,
get a Ziploc bag.
hold it straight.
Okay, here we go. Get a Ziploc bag. Oops, right here,
right there.
Here we go. Freeze them. I mean,
that's a block of ice. The cards are in.
Of ice, so that it's going to really take some effort to get yourself to use one of these credit cards.
So you're going to leave that in the freezer, and then if you want to go spend something with the credit cards, you're going to have to think long and hard about it because you're going to have to defrost it.
And the second step to bulletproof your budget is to use envelopes. Put your cash in envelopes, and
So this is a great cheap idea here. You've split it up into different categories: entertainment, gas, clothes, groceries, shoes. Because you can still buy things. You can still do the things you want to do, but you're saying put money in for each of them every month.
Budget and use cash and put it in envelopes so that you just spend what you have.
Okay, and then I guess, you know, what's the next big tip that you have for people?
I'd say the last tip is if you're really in financial trouble, ask for help. I cut that debt from $88,000 to less than half.
How did you do that?
So what I did was I used a debt settlement company. We hear a lot about credit counseling.
And you say don't use the credit counseling agencies, right?
What I say is you're the mayor of your life. Educate yourself, but understand that credit counseling is paid for by the credit cards. And
so the credit card companies actually fund the credit counseling services, so they're not necessarily your friend.
No, debt settlement is really working for the consumer, but you need to do your research. And one of the things that I find that's important is to look for a debt settlement company that has the TASC logo, because those are the ones that do the extra effort to have like the good housekeeping seal of approval.
So you went from $88,000 in credit card debt. Are you debt-free now using all of these steps?
I've been debt-free
for a long time.
Yeah, I paid off my debt in under 2 years.
And using this step, and you said the biggest thing is just stick with cash, right?
Stick with cash. Stick with cash.
Because if you don't have it, you can't spend it, unlike those credit cards.
When it's gone, it's gone.
And then you just budget for the rest of the month until you get that next paycheck.
And I think, you know, the day that I had an envelope and I was down to the brown money, the copper money, I realized I really needed to make a change, and that's when I started a business. So I think this economy is making us a lot more creative, and I'm really out there to get entrepreneurship to really re-blossom and help us re-energize our economy.
This is great advice, and you have a book here. And where can people find more information? This is Funky to Fabulous, right? And you have a website?
I do. EliDavidson.com.
Perfect. And we're also going to post Eli's information on our own website. Here's her book. We're going to post her information on our own website coming up after the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to throw it over back to Lisa. Thank you so much, Eli.